So who are first timers? Anybody?
First time, yeah.
Everybody. Okay, good. Good.
And get off your feet if you like.
Yeah.
Just take a seat. They can easily come in around the other side. We'll just make room for them. You know, so rest your legs.
Yeah, this will be very casual. You guys can ask questions as we go. Basically, I felt the easiest way to go about doing this was just kind of to go through the athlete guide, and then any questions you may have, just feel free to ask. As you go through here, you're going to notice on the third page there's a bunch of referee rules. I'm not going to really go through the rules section because I don't want to be misquoted and then have somebody get a penalty because you heard me say it. So rather than go through that whole process, there's going to be multiple athlete briefings at the expo. Officials will be there, and they'll go through that at that point. Ed Cheatham will be the head referee for the event, so feel free to find him or any one of the other officials, whether it's in transition, if you see him at the practice swim, just feel free to ask him any questions you have about equipment or what's legal versus not legal. The event schedule. So Wednesday, we're gonna start the check-in process. That's gonna be from 10 to 5. So it's indicated here as a Waterway parking lot, and that's actually on the corner of Waterway and Timberline. So if you guys are familiar with that flat lot that's back there, that's what we're going to be using for the expo. It's also going to be your athlete food at the end of the event. So when you cross the finish line, you're going to make your way into that parking lot, and there's going to be massage. There's going to be Massage Heights is offering our massage this year, and we also have free birds for athlete food. So on Wednesday and Thursdays, the athlete check-in from 10 to 5. Friday, we have a practice swim. Now, in order to go to the practice swim, you need to have your timing chip on. It's the same thing that we do for race day. We need to make sure whoever goes in the water comes out of the water. We want to make sure that you guys are all accounted for, everyone's safe, and we put several lifeguards in the water. It'll look a miniature version of what you're going to see on race day. So you're not going to be able to swim the full course, but you're going to have access to a good quarter mile to a half mile of the course. I mean, if you want to swim that 2-3 times, go nuts. But just get in there at 8 and get out by 10. So, we also have bike check-in and gear check-in. It's going to be from 10 to 3 at Town Green Park. I recommend getting there kind of early. So if you're going to practice swim, maybe you ride your bike to the practice swim. Then maybe you ride over to Town Green Park, checking your bike, checking your gear, and go from there. We have a Dave Matthews concert Friday night over at the Pavilion, so you might want to try and beat some of that early concert going traffic. Things to okay, so you're going to get multiple bags inside your gear bag that you pick up at check-in. They're all kind of color-coded, so it'll make it a little bit easy for you. On Friday, you just need to bring your bike and then your run gear, so red, run, bike, blue. And this is going to be your running shoes, and here you're going to have your bike shoes. It's known as a clean transition, so there's nothing on the floor. You hang it up by your saddle or by your handlebars, depending on which way your number's facing and how it fits versus the bike next to you. Everything goes on in here. So that would be on Friday. What you would bring with you on race day is that you would have morning clothes bag. So it's green. It's the first thing you're going to drop off. It's whenever you're ready. Your bike special needs. So I tell everyone, remember this, that the cones out there marking the course are orange, and so is your food bag for your bike special needs. And then run course is black. It's usually done in the afternoon or night. So that's how you guys can remember that one. The other one is when you're dropping off everything, all food is done on race day. All gear is done the day before. So any water bottles, nutritional products you want to bring, put in here. On another note, anything that you put into your special needs, the need is considered food. So do not put anything like keys or a passport. We've had that happen before. These bags do not come back. They get disposed of either out in the bike course. There is receptacles out at mile 60. These never come back once they go on out there. So basically, if you want some gels or an extra water bottle, that's kind of what this is. If you use something else besides Perform, you want to use some other kind of electrolyte. Same thing with the run. It's more or less if you want some other gels besides goo, if you want a different kind of product, or you want extra goo, put it in here. sometimes sandwiches, bars, but food-based is what we recommend. All right.
If you put a bike jersey in one of those bags for bike needs, special needs, and then suddenly you decide you're not going to change and you're into that jersey, like Scott said, you're not getting that bag back.
Right.
So.
And if that jersey's in there and you realize that you don't want to wear it, but you kind of like to keep it, always fits right in that back pocket. You put a lot of stuff back there, so just kind of put it on back there, maybe tie it in a knot around your handlebars or something, so you're bringing it on back with you. Thursday we have our athlete banquet, and that starts at, let's see here, 6:30. 5:30. So 5:30 is the athlete banquet. It's going to be at the Marriott Convention Center, and then I'll go to about 7:30. Saturday, okay, transition's going to open at 5 a.m. Well, 5:30 a.m. It's going to close at 6:30 a.m. So make sure that if you want to do any last-minute checking of your bike, that you do it before 6:30, and you have plenty of time to get to the start. Starts North Shore Park. It's about from the Marriott, from the town green part. It's about 0.8 of a mile. So make sure you allot plenty of time to get there prior to the start. That's where you drop off your special needs bags and your morning clothes bags. It's at Town Green Park. So there's going to be an area for the bike, an area for the run, and then an area for your morning clothes. Your run special needs is also, when you hit the run course, is also going to be located in North Shore Park. So that's where you're going to claim that. It's a 3-loop course, but you'll have access to the bag one time. So we recommend on the second loop is when you would want access on it.
When you say morning clothes, you refer to our swimming gear?
Well,
Like if you're wearing warm-ups.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you're wearing this prior to the start,
Yeah.
you walk on over, put it to a bag, and then that same stuff will be at the athlete food area in that race expo, which is also race expo.
Yeah.
It'll be there post race for you to claim. This way you don't have to be wet clothes. You can put something on dryer.
Yeah.
Because we know it's going to be cold later on, so you guys are going to want to warm up a little bit.
Stay warm.
So the pros are going to go off at 6:50. Age groupers are at 7. So traditionally, and this is all dependent on the conditions on race day, we'll start taking temperatures a week from now. So we'll start taking temperatures on Wednesday and Thursday. See what the water temp looks like. Nothing is official until race morning. If it's in that gray area of a wetsuit, so right around that 80-ish, it's not wetsuit legal, but you can wear it if you so chose, meaning that you're pulled away from any age group awards, any roll down slots, anything. You're actually going to be pulled out of the actual results and be put into a different category of the results. So you'll still have your time, you'll still have it listed. It's just going to have a wetsuit denoted there. It's going to be a little bit different. If you're more comfortable swimming in a wetsuit and it's under 84 degrees, feel free to do so. And those individuals have usually started in the second wave. So
Are there a lot less people that start in that wave?
It's actually
if
pretty-
it's
yeah,
like if it's if it's not technically what's legal.
we actually have about 600 people that elect to do that, to have that as their option. Last year, I believe we had about 2,400 hit the water. So about 600 of which were wetsuits. So, and you can always, stage yourself appropriately. I mean, if you're a little apprehensive in the swim, no need to be right up front at the starting line. No need to kind of ease your way on into it, take your time, get a little bit of a warm up in, and start slow.
If you had the ice swing in the lake for that swim 2 weeks ago, with my wetsuit on, and it was 74 and it was warm.
Yeah,
Yes, it was warm already.
So I would, if you haven't swam it yet, I'd do that more.
You have tendencies to get warm because
Yes.
once your body overheats, then you're compensating to try to cool it down. Stop.
I practice taking off my wetsuit in the water. If I do that, is that allowed?
You can hand up to a kayak.
Well,
Could I-
that's not really. Yeah,
It may not
I
get
wouldn't.
back.
I wouldn't
You don't
recommend that because getting it back and then.
And then floating and the next
Yeah,
one.
so we don't recommend that.
Penalized for it.
No, but you may not get it
I would
back.
actually ask an official if they would consider that being discarding of equipment.
Abandonment.
Yeah, abandonment of equipment. I'm not going to get into the, like I said, the rule side of it, but I would ask an official. I would venture to guess they would consider that abandonment of equipment, but that's my guess. I would recommend just kind of going to the practice swim, see what your comfort level is, and then do whatever you're comfortable with. Do not change race day because it's race day. Like whatever you've practiced in is what you want to do.
Can I say something about the 600
Sure.
people? I think that you still want to know that those 600 people aren't going to completely spread out for you. So that's still 600 people that are going in that same direction.
Yeah.
So kind of know that whether you're there or here, you're still going to have maybe somebody in close proximity of you. And still, like Scott was saying, race your own race and keep that distance comfortable. But you can't keep people sometimes from still running into you.
No.
And then the bottleneck will happen when you hit the canal. So you go from this much of the lake to that much.
But where's this age group start? It's still everybody at the same time.
Max.
Right? Yeah,
It's
that's
still max.
not separated out.
It's two waves. Like,
It's the pros and then everybody else, right?
right. It's pros. It's the 7 a.m. is the non-wetsuit.
Non-wetsuit, okay.
And then if it's depending on the conditions, 7:10 would be the wetsuit wave.
Yeah.
And that 10 minutes is still from the 9:20. They don't get to 9:30 or.
Correct.
Just so everybody understands that 10 minutes is a.
Yeah, we'll go over the cutoff times here in just a second. So you have 2 hours and 20 minutes to complete the swim, which will put you at 9:20. There is another cutoff out on the bike course. That's at mile 60, approximately. Trying to look for the, I believe it is at 140. At 140 at just before you reach mile 60. So you have to be there by 1:40 p.m. Then you have to be into transition by 5:30 p.m. Once you're onto the run course, at mile 17, you have to be there by 9:50 p.m. And then, of course, the final cutoff is midnight. If you elect to wear the wetsuit in that style of format, if you chose to do that, you do not get 10 minutes added on. So if you finish at 12:08, your choice was based upon preference to wear the wetsuit. So you're kind of 10 minutes back from that perspective. But really, if you made the other benchmarks, it's sort of moot. So if you made the 140 and everything else, it's not. And then on Sunday, the bike store will be back open up at 7, from 7 to 12. There'll be some race information there. We'll have a awards banquet at 9 a.m. again at the Marriott. And roll down slots and everything is at 1:45. So here's a pretty good one that we get a lot. Your guys' personal communication amongst your family. It's kind of hard for them always to track where you're at from point A to point B. They kind of go on what you all think your goal times are and what you're gonna average. So sometimes a little bit of anxiety if John hasn't reached mile 7 by a certain point, and you just kind of want to make sure that they know that you're going to be out there, and if something, if the time is well off, to go to the where you went for the race expo check-in point. At that point, there is a information tent. There's also a medical information tent, and they'll have a record of you. So if something happened, you guys cramped up and had to go to the medical tent, your bib number gets entered in the computer, and then they know that where you're at. Also, at the end of the race, they might have missed you. So make sure you guys have a meeting point picked out. It's going to be over at this restaurant, or over in this corner, or something along those lines. So this way, they at least know that if they missed you at the finish line and you should have finished already, they know where you're going to be.
How the athlete tracker that they see online, where does that update? What points does that update?
So it varies. It's actually all based on the use cell phone towers. That's what so it depends on the strain on the system with everybody else around trying to look them up and using their own cell phone. So it does download periodically, and then those downloads do go up online. But it's not like every 30 minutes it goes up or something.
So like twice. Like on the bike course, like is it going to be like one time? Or
No, it'll go up pretty. It goes up pretty regularly, but I'm not gonna. it's not like every 15 minutes, every 30 minutes it goes up. It goes up regularly, but it depends on when they can pull the information down. Sometimes there's lag time is what I'm getting at, I guess.
So it's not we're crossing mile 50 and then it
instantaneously goes up. Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's not how. Yeah, it goes into the box, and the box has to send a message out to the timers. So, any other questions on? Okay. Let's see here. All right, aid stations. They're going to be fully stocked. Meaning on the bike course, you're going to have Ironman Perform, water, bananas, bonk breaker bars, goo gels, Roctane, and goo chomps. On the run course, you're going to have, again, Perform, which is going to be, lemon lime on the bike, orange on the run, along with water, cola. There's going to be chicken broth, bonk breaker bars again, goo, Roctane, goo chops, pretzels, and some fruit. So.
Porta potties at every aid station, and I want to say every other on the run has medical.
Well, porta potties, please use them. Do not use someone's front yard. Please. Crazier things have happened. We'll get complaints, and it's just bad across the board. It makes the sport look bad. It makes all of us look bad. So, please, yeah.
Especially not in Grimes County.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I've been on the course too many times with dogs and stuff. They're not very friendly sometimes.
We had those.
I don't, yeah, dogs, a lot of dogs.
Okay.
It's not study-wise, but on the swim course, how much distance between each buoy?
I was just getting there.
Okay.
Swim course. So it's approximately 100 meters between each buoy.
Okay.
Now that does not count the two turn ones. They're a little bit closer. Traditionally, we have yellow going on out. You're going to turn on red,
Yeah.
and then you're going to follow back through orange. So make sure you're watching it as you approach the canal. It's going to be at that point. As long as we get the first couple people going right, it's one big game to follow the leader. So just kind of watch the rest of the arms and keep on going along with. But again, yeah, it's approximately 100 meters apart. We have swim steps that are inserted over at Town Green Park. We'll have catchers there to help bring you on up. We will try to have some wetsuit strippers there. Since it's traditionally not a wetsuit legal race, there are not as many wetsuit strippers as there would be at other events. But we'll try to assist with that if you all need help. After you do that, you're going to be running down the trolley path. The trolley path is going to have your bike to run. Swim to bike bags, the blue gear bags. You're going to pick that up and go into the change tent. That's where you're going to get your shoes on, helmet on, if you want to put on a cycling jersey, whatever. And off to the bike course. Bike course aid stations, they're approximately every 10 to 12 miles. They're based upon your safety, volunteer safety, and then appropriate distance for you guys to get the nutrition that you need. So there's 10 out there, not including your special needs station. Again, they all have restrooms at them. Please use the restrooms on these stations. They also have bike racks by there, so if you need it, use the portalet, just rack your bike, just don't throw it off to the side and have somebody else trip over it. All trash is to get discarded at the aid stations. Do not throw it somewhere else. You'll get a penalty for it. It'll be a red card penalty, which is a 4-minute time penalty. I believe it's a 4-minute time penalty. It is a time penalty.
So yes, 4 minutes. It said 4 minutes.
4 minutes, there you go. So that was right.
And the 2 penalty tents on the bike course.
Yep, where you at? 3 and 9. Yep, 3, 9, and just outside transition. So if you do, for some unforeseen reason, get a penalty, you need to proceed to the next penalty tent, not the one that you would like to go to. So if you get it at the beginning part of the race, it's fine. It's the 3rd aid station. If you've already passed the 3rd aid station, then it'll be the 9th aid station, and then transition.
Did they like run out and wave a card at you?
Right, actually, yeah.
You yell your number out loud?
Yeah, it'll be
on a
pretty much
motorcycle.
like soccer. There's a red card and the yellow card, except for the officials are on motorcycles. So they might come up next to you and watch for a little bit because they're looking for different things like blocking or drafting, and a lot of those have time implications where you can take over a pass, and they're going to look at you and just go number 14 right there, and they're going to tell you that you got they're going to yell it out, and they're going to point to the color, and then the yellow is a stop and go. So you would literally just go to the penalty tent, you would stop in, you would check in, they would sign off that you were there, and then you go on your way. The red card is a time penalty. You'll go in there, you'll tell them you got a red card, they will hand you a stopwatch, and you will sit there and watch the stopwatch until your time is up. You'll hand it back, and then you'll go on your way.
And they're radioing into the different penalty areas. So they have a list of people who to expect.
Okay.
All right.
We had a small race this past weekend with the CBNI, and we had a no-pass zone because they had to condense the course. And in that no-pass zone, commonly it means no pass, but people still were passing and not saying passing on your left and using a wonderful word that just said move, and we didn't have enough officials on the course to catch everybody. So it's just kind of sad. So that then falls under unsportsmanlike conduct, so all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So we just don't need to go there.
So once you get done with the run course, you're going to re-rack your bike. Now, 9 times out of 10, when you get to transition at a full distance Ironman event, there's going to be a volunteer sitting there smiling, waving for you, and you're going to hand your bike off to them, and you're just going to keep on running straight down through transition. There will be, again, like I said, more than likely somebody right there waiting. Sometimes you have to wait a second for them to come on over and get your bike, but somebody will take your bike from you, and they're going to re-rack that back where that bike was later. From there, you're going to proceed to the back end of transition, and you're going to make a left excuse me, onto the trolley path, and that's where you're going to get your bike to run back. Again, you're going to go into a change tent, you're going to get your shoes, you're going to get, if you want, change into running shorts, whatever you want to do, and then go on up to the run course. Last year, the heat presented an issue with those bags. We're going to have it all carpeted this year, so there's going to be carpet for the bike to run section.
Oh, yeah, burn feet last year.
Yeah, there was a couple people that got some burnt feet last year. So
If you unclip and leave the shoes on the bike, we were running barefoot, and those people had issues.
Right. So that was the first year it happened, was last year. So we saw what happened, and now we're getting carpet. So there'll be carpet there this year. On the run course, there is 9 aid stations. That is a 3-loop course, so make sure you're doing all 3 loops. And then your finish line will be on the waterway right by America's Restaurant. Any questions?
Yeah, for when you in the transition, when you change that, because that's going to probably wear a speed suit with my wetsuit bottoms over it. But can I change out of it? I need to put bike shorts on. Can you just? Are you in the tent by yourself when you change?
No,
No.
it's a huge open area.
Guys have one tent. No.
Okay.
Guys have one tent.
Okay.
Girls have another
So
tent.
that's not a problem.
Yeah. No.
Guys
Okay.
have guys helpers, and then
Yep.
the women's side have women helpers.
Okay.
We were going to have stuff anywhere from like baby wipes, powder, some petroleum jelly. Men will have Gold Bond, baby wipes, and a few items in there as well to just kind of help you freshen up a bit.
Okay.
But you're kind of on your own, so if you're uncomfortable,
No, that's fine.
bring a towel in your bag and do the California thing, and changing underneath. So kind of work on that. Transition, practice.
Any other questions? Now's your time.
So the bags are probably the biggest thing for us as athletes. We'll get people that maybe either didn't meet the guide or still got a little confused, and they'll show up Saturday morning with all their bags. So our areas are still open, and we will accept and let them put them in there, but we prefer to have done most of that on Friday.
Friday when you check.
Yeah, I mean, we want to make so
it's less
the
for
rules
you.
are listed there. It's not to be really hard line in the sand. It's actually to make your day easier. You're coming there with a bunch of stuff. Now you have a bunch of different things to remember. So
Keep
we
it
have
simple.
tons of security there for your bike and for your gear. So that's the mandatory check-in on Friday is your bike gear, your run gear, and your bike. And that's all at Town Green Park. The other stuff is all food-based or morning clothes, and that's all at North Shore Park.
But for your water bottles, is between that Saturday morning.
Yeah,
For
you
your
bring that
bike
Saturday
water.
morning. Yeah, so if you
Yeah.
want to go in and check on your bike Saturday morning, that's why transition opens up
Yeah.
at 5:30, closes at 6:30. Put some water bottles on there. Yeah.
the water bottles on the bike course fit, the ones that they hand us fit
So
in
they do, but
We're changing the rules.
okay. So for the Perform, you're actually going to get this particular bottle.
Uh-huh.
We'll have a sports top on it.
Okay.
There won't be a flat top. For the the water bottles vary. The sports house water bottles that you get inside the supermarket are basically the ones that we use. So they do fit your water bottle. Now, your cage holder, if you would like a tip on that, sometimes you can put a rubber band in between. So this way you get a little bit more resistance. And
It's more like a Sam's water.
Okay.
I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Perfect. Okay. So you can put like a rubber band in the back here, and it'll add a little bit of a resistance for the water bottle. So if it's jiggling a little bit, the rubber band will push back and keep it forward. So I mean, practice that before you do it. And I want to see you going like this on race day. You're start telling me the rubber band would work, and then the bottle falls. So, but it'll actually help it stop jiggling a bit. And as you see on this one, it fits perfectly. The water bottles vary because of the, how empty is it, how full is it, what's yours look like versus someone else's.
And if you haven't tried to Perform, we have it in this blue thermos, so come and get a sip of it. And hopefully you've already been practicing with what you were going to expect on race day, so that way, with the stomach issues, how it handles it all. But get a sample of that if you haven't already.
All right. Anything else?
On I did the 70.3, and they told us you have to put the bikes in the corral the day before, can't do anything the morning before, and I struggled to fill the air in my disc tire with a small hand pump. And I saw one guy bring in his disc wheel with him. Apparently he filled it up in the hotel room and then brought it in that morning. Is that allowable?
What I would recommend is that we have a tent there in transition race morning. Last thing you want to forget is your wheel, right? You don't want to walk out of the hotel room or walk out of your house, get to the start and be like, I don't have a wheel. So if that was already there, all you have to do is walk toward the bike tech and they'll pump it up for you. Now you can bring a bike pump into transition, you just can't keep it in there. Because where it's helpful for you, it has the potential to ruin someone else's day. It's on the ground and someone trips over it and they hurt themselves. Or
yeah, that was the problem. They told us that whatever you want back has to fit in that bag, and
correct.
It's not nearly big enough for a full-size pump.
Yeah.
But in the morning, you can take it in at 5:30, just bring it out by 6:30.
Yeah,
Right?
take it out to a family member.
Yeah, you can hand it to a family member.
We'll have over a dozen pumps there.
Yeah.
So
And then we also have the bike tech will have a compressor pump. They'll have at least one, if not two, compressor pumps there.
Yes.
So
We'll have bike representatives helping us to be in that area to help people that one.
right. If you guys need help out on the bike course, flag down one of the tech. They're all on scooters. They're all fully equipped to handle flats and an array of different things.
Same thing
but
with those
know
sags.
how to change your own flat. So you can get it started even if you can't fully get it on. Be a little cautious on what that looks like. Have equipment to do it and get it started if you need assistance, because it is a first come first served basis. Whereas you may be flagging down a staff member to call in tech for you, but it may be 30 minutes before a tech gets to you because they're going right down the line trying to get to the next person. So know how to change your own tires. Yeah. And bring equipment to do it. Nothing worse than getting out at mile 80 and realizing you don't have any equipment to change a tire. So,
A good wheel running on a flat is only good from maybe a couple of miles before you void it.
and it's
So
no
just kinda
longer
know
a big
that.
wheel after that.
It's not a good wheel after that. It gets out of true.
Yeah.
So get 2 miles down to the next aid station, maybe,
And the aid stations also have little toolboxes on them. Now they're minimal toolboxes. They should have a couple tubes on there. They'll have a pump. So if you have a tube, but you're out of CO2, they'll have a true pump on there. But, any other questions? Yeah. All right.
So the
Thanks,
one
guys.
thing I think we forgot to mention mention was just that Sunday's athlete banquet at 12:30.
Yes.
If they want to buy tickets for family members, they can.
Yep. You guys
What
all.
about for Thursday, such as athlete?
It's mostly
It's mostly athletes, but family members can come too. But you still have to go online and get a ticket for whoever's coming.
Is Sunday for volunteers as well?
It is.
Yes,
Yep.
yes, yes.
It's an awards and volunteer banquet.
Thank
All
you
right.
guys for coming.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
For sharing this.
Feel free to grab a drink and
Is this gonna be on the,